Okay, I guess I'm streaming here. All right, this is new for me. I'm just going to do a quick bio of autobiography of myself. Just my way of journaling. I thought it would just a little bit about my life. I'm not going to go back as far as I was born. I'm just going to try to skip to the high points. Hopefully, I won't miss too much. Just talk a little bit about myself, and it's just kind of my way of journaling. So I will warn you, some of this stuff is a little boring. So, but it's just mostly for me, maybe not for a whole lot of other people. But you might just be curious what has shaped my life, and you might want to know a little bit more about me. So, here we go. When I was 9 or 10 years old, I was a pretty normal kid. I liked to play outside a lot with my friends. We liked to play sticks. We used to chase jackrabbits out in the fields, Corpus Christi, Texas. We would hide in the bushes, play on the playground. Um, I was pretty normal. I had a pretty happy childhood at that time. Um, I would say one thing that was interesting was I began to become religious right around that time. That's something that majorly shaped my life. Started reading the Bible and um, started thinking about God and whether He existed. I actually thought of, I think, Kalam's cosmological argument. I actually figured that out when I was like 9 or 10 years old, and so I don't know, maybe somebody shared it on the radio, and I don't know if I invented that or anything like or reinvented it. But anyway, started thinking about what would happen if I die and what do you have to lose, that kind of thing. So that kind of wrapped me up into religion. I was one of those kids that actually was so interested in religion that my parents dropped me off at the door of the church when I was 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old, and just I just went by myself, which is really not something I would recommend doing with your kids. Pretty bad parenting on my parents' part, but anyway, they thought you'd be safe in church. I'll come pick them up afterwards, but that's really strange. But anyway, that was me. I wanted to go to church, for some odd reason. I really started having a very sincere belief in God at a very young age. Let's just put it that way. And started thinking about ethics, started thinking about my own sin, and had guilt at a very young age about sin. And they made me, I know I did things that I wasn't real happy with myself about, and uh, began to read the Bible and realize some of those things maybe God could change me, that kind of thing. So anyway, moving on from Corpus Christi, Texas, we moved over to Mobile, Alabama, and I'm going to skip a few years here, but around the time I was 14 years old, obviously, that's when you're kind of hitting puberty and stuff. So that's just pretty much the same with everybody. I had a religious experience at my grandmother's house. I was out playing basketball, and I had this vision that I, at the time, thought maybe was God, uh, but it was. I don't think that anymore. But I'll get to that later. But anyway, I thought that God. I was the night before. I was praying and asking God to tell me what I should be when I grow up. What was my calling? And that's always a dangerous thing to start getting into, like asking God, "What is my calling?" And then I was into this thing where I was kind of trying to listen to the Holy Spirit, listen to what God was telling me, speaking to me, and I was out playing basketball. So guess what? I thought God was trying to tell me at 14 years old. What do you think? You're going to be a professional basketball player. and you're going to play in the NBA and all this stuff. And I actually really believed this sincerely till I was 38 years old. Yes, you heard me right. I believed that I was going to play in the NBA up until about 38 years old. It took me a while to figure things out. I'm a little bit of a slow learner. Even my Christian friends, thought that was kind of a crazy thing. So, because the odds of making the NBA, there's only 5 people out there on the floor at one time. And mathematically speaking, you've got to be elite of elite of elite of elite of elite of elite of elite basketball player. And even then, you still may not make it. And I tried really hard. I put in hours upon hours of practicing basketball in high school and even in college. And I mean, we're talking about 3 to 5 hours of practice a day. It was insane amounts of practice. I mean, that's a lot of basketball. Played at least 3-4 times a week like that, and got pretty good at basketball. I will say that. Got pretty good at shooting it. I could make, I think my record for free throws is like 61 free throws in a row. Not bad. Probably more than some of the NBA players could make. Another thing I got to say about this was that right after I had this vision from God, I hit a growth spurt. I was right there at puberty, and I hit this humongous growth spurt. One summer, I grew 5 inches. And I mean, I had stretch marks on my back where the skin was like pulling apart because I grew so much. And I thought, this is a confirmation that God's telling me that I'm going to play in the NBA. By the way, right now I'm 46 years old and I've never played in the NBA. I did actually play in college. That was kind of cool for me. But it was disappointing too. Nothing in my basketball career really panned out, very well. So, and I actually did get to even try out for the NBA D League. It was pay to play, so it wasn't like I was a good player or anything. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because it was a delusion. I had a hallucination. I now realize was a hallucination. It was just an imaginary thing, and I worked it up. And I did a few things when I was religious. By the way, now the last, I'd say 3 or 4 years, I've become an atheist. What happened to you? A lot of people ask me because I was so religious. I was so sincerely religious. I even went to Bible college. I got a few degrees from Bible colleges and stuff, and went to 3 Christian colleges and studied the Bible. I have just short of the equivalent of a bachelor's in Bible. So another thing about my bio is I've attended, let me think here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colleges. It's kind of hard. I might be off by 1 or 2, but about 7 colleges. And I've gotten a few lesser degrees. All my degrees are undergraduate. I started out my beginning of my college career, the goal was to play in the NBA, professional basketball. So my grades were not very good because I didn't like to study because I was too tired because I was playing all this basketball. And as a result, it wore my joints out, and that's not good. I have arthritis in my all throughout my neck, my lower back, my knees, even got some in my ankle and my hips. So I'm definitely done with the whole NBA career. Okay, just in case you weirdos are listening to this and you think maybe there's still a chance. No, no, no. I've given up that long ago. But it was a hurtful, it was a painful thing to spend, we'll say, 24 years of your life chasing a dream and then it just not pan out. It feels like a lot. It feels disappointing. It feels like a waste. And it's painful. I've never been married. I think part of that is because I'm not the most social person. I'm not the most socially adept person in the world. And I wasn't the type of person, I don't think I was marriage material. Okay, let's just be honest. And I do now have a girlfriend. I've been dating her for about a year and a half, and we're thinking about getting married. So pretty happy about that. I started out going to college to become a teacher. And then I sort of drifted away from that, joined the Air Force, became a crew chief, aircraft maintenance person, mechanic, which is like the head aircraft mechanic on the airplane. Worked on KC-135R models, if you know what that is. It's an mid-air refueler. Okay, I won't bore you anymore with that. My dad was a pilot and a lawyer, and my mom is a registered nurse and a teacher. She's also a pianist. I got my bachelor's degree in music, so you might see a couple little piano deals with me trying to play keyboard a little bit. I've taught piano for about 13 years. I've been taking a break for the last couple of years. I teach all ages, keyboard, voice, guitar, and percussion. So those are my instruments, and I've taught lessons in all those. Not too many percussion ones. One thing, let's see, what else about my bio? Oh, I was really passionate at one time about preaching the gospel. And so I created my own gospel tract, and I led hundreds of people to the Lord personally. And that gospel tract was distributed by the thousands, all as far away as Arizona from here. And I had people reproducing it by the thousands, and I was just giving it out for free. I didn't make a penny off of it. Now I look at that and I go, wow, I wish I had that to do over again. I've never taken drugs, never used alcohol, never used tobacco products of any kind. Some things I don't want to get into over here. But anyway, one of the things, another thing that in my bio, I was in Amway for about 3 years. That was the worst decision of my life. So I did a video on Amway. And I've got, I think, 29,000 views on that one. But anyway, I'm going back to school right now to teach elementary ed. I'm hoping that works out good. Sometimes I'm not sure if I feel inadequate sometimes to do what I need to do. And, but maybe that's just my emotions, and I hope it is. But I hope to, let me just talk from the heart about some of my goals in life. First of all, as I ponder what is the meaning of life, I don't think there is any meaning in life. Okay, there isn't any. We're just here. Um, but you can give your life meaning, and you can make meaning out of things. Um, One thing I just wanted to mention is that um, making the world a better place for our kids, I think, is important. And how can we go about that? How can we see that society improves? Is there a point in improving? I don't know. I mean, sometimes I wonder, especially after we've had this terrible presidency of Donald Trump, you know, are we heading towards extinction now at this point? Are we just going down, down, down? But I'd like to think that we do have some type of something good we can contribute to this planet. I think we've got to look at the environment. Um, and this is supposed to be an autobiography. Okay. But I'm talking about my goals. And so I think my goals is that I would like to share some of the things and experiences that I've learned in life with the next generation so as to help them, give them tools, give them something to work with. Um, and it kind of breaks my heart when I see some things going downhill, when I see the opioid addiction, when I see people lacking in education, um, ignorance being multiplied, misinformation spanning the globe. A lot of misinformation is on the internet. Um, so I got to thinking about what my goal is in life, and I think being an educator is my right up there. Well, among to teach other people, to share with other people tools that they can use to improve their lives and the lives of others. See, I think we've got to think about other people, not just ourselves. The self-centeredness of our hearts and our minds is like a cancer, and which leads to one of the biggest problems on earth, which is greed. I'm not going to get on this big long rant about things, but I think we've got to say enough is enough with all this greed. And greed is bringing down everything on this planet. I think, I used to look to Jesus as my savior. I still think there's some good teachings in the teachings of Jesus. Love your neighbor as yourself. Obviously, that's a pretty decent one. But I don't think he's the only savior of the planet. I think we need to look to people like Greta Thunberg. Hey, she's a role model. She's saying this is our future. This is and so that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I think, you know, I don't. I tell people jokingly, my goal in life is no injuries, but it's actually a few goals: no injuries, have fun, and get paid. So those were my three goals in life. But I say that sort of tongue in cheek. But in all seriousness, to make the world a better place is one of my goals in life. And I think for us to get to the next level in our thinking, we've got to break out of this, I hate to say it, mind control state. We have to realize there are forces in the world that are trying to control this. And you have to be aware of it. It's okay for somebody to control your behavior, okay, to a certain extent. But at the same time, when you are so completely deluded in your thinking, delusional in your thinking, and you can't see clearly enough to figure out this is up and this is down, this is right, this is wrong, this is left, this is right, or whatever. And I think the screen's backwards on that. So I do mow my left from right. I'm going to wrap this up because we're into 20 minutes now. But I think we need to think about what kind of businesses, especially, are manipulating our minds and our thinking. Advertising, greed, peer pressure, religion. For me, I was in the military, brainwash. We've got to clear our minds. We've got to clear the way we think. We've got to be sober-minded, and I think where I'm at right now, I know there's corruption in the world. But you cannot just burn everything down and start over. You've got to work with the systems in place to try to make this a better place. You're never going to have a perfect system. Don't try to make it perfect. Lay aside your idealism and embrace progress over perfection. Wow, I got a little preachy there. But this is supposed to be an autobio. I really don't have much more to say. My story, I work right now I'm currently a janitor. Been doing it for 10 years. A janitor with about 18 years of college. So that's life. That's life. I like to sing karaoke. I like to dance. I also like to play competitive ping pong when my arthritis isn't hurting, but lately, the last few years, I've kind of had to give that up. I like to still shoot some hoops. It's fun. And I like to smile and I like to laugh and be happy. And I highly recommend that you pursue things that make you happy. Because that is one of the greatest meanings of life, is happiness. As anticlimactic as that sounds, I think if you can alleviate someone else's pain and suffering, make them happy, I think that has some meaning to it. And I hope that we can one day solve one of the greatest problems on the earth, which is the wealth inequality gap. But that's for another day. So, as George Burns once said, it's a shame that all the people that have all of the answers to all of the questions and problems of all the earth are all happen to be barbers. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.